Incubus, succubus, words that, if you know what they mean, tend to strike fear into the hearts of men and women. Unless you're one of those freaky deaky types, then it kind of excites you. I'm just kidding. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. Welcome to Unindoctrinate. Rocky Stucci just got you rocking. Rocky Stucci just got you rolling with Rocky Stucci's Situation Room. And here I am, Jeffrey Daugherty, the artist, also known as the Christian Whistleblower, here to take you into the midnight hour, reminding you of your personal, inherent, divine, sovereign, and free power. I'm here, cousins, to remind you you're 10 feet tall and bulletproof. You're locked and loaded. You are wall-to-wall and treetop tall, and you can't be stopped. You're the last generation of real humans, and we're about to get busy. On yesterday's show, I don't know whether to say last night, this morning, but on our last show, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about how fear porners are trying to manipulate your manifestation. And part of that, a big part of that, is to manipulate your sexual manifestation, to manipulate your sexuality. And one of the real tools in manipulating sexuality, one of the real tools in hijacking sexual manifestation is fear. Fear, sex is dirty, sex is bad, sex will take you to hell. To look at a woman lustfully will take you to hell. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Men, can I just give you some advice, folks? Can I just lay some truth on you? Men are built to look at women lustfully. And that word lustfully gets everybody all upset. Lustfully, no, it just means, ooh, baby, you look good. That's the definition of looking at a woman lustfully in the New Testament scriptures. Men are built to look at women lustfully. And guess what? Women are built to look at men lustfully. We're supposed to like how each other looks. That's the way it works. And they're trying to take the ones that run this fear and guilt control matrix, the ones that want to keep us out of our divinity, out of our sovereignty, out of our freedom, those that want us to believe that we've got original sin, not the spark of divinity within, they're trying to tell us, trying to teach us, trying to convince us that the very basic drives that we have, the very default, if you see a dude, it doesn't care how happily married he is, gorgeous woman walks by, he's gonna look, unless he's very, very disciplined, he's gonna look. Most beautiful women, if a beautiful woman walks by, you're gonna take a peek. If a great looking guy walks by, they're gonna take a peek. It's just the way we're built. And the religious power structures, the dominant cultural paradigm, wants us to feel bad for doing what comes naturally to us. It's so stupid. It's so ridiculous. And so they take us into a place of feeling bad, feeling guilty. They put us in a place of fear about sex. Oh, I can't do that. I'm going to go to hell. They put us in all types of bondage around sex. And the reason why they do it is because they know how powerful a manifestation tool sexuality can be when we get it right. They know how happy you can be when you've got a good, powerful sex life. And they know how dangerous you can be to their fear and guilt control matrix when you get a good, happy sex life. When you got your groove on, you're even more of a threat to the fear and guilt control matrix. So we're going to talk about that. And they take it to another level, folks. And I'm going to make a little bit of a prophecy here, a little bit of a prediction. I am predicting that in the days to come, the soon coming days, you're going to begin to see more talk about this idea of the incubus. You're going to begin to see more talk about this idea of the succubus. More fear porn coming out about it, more reports of these entities, because they know that we're learning. They know that we're finding out. They know that we're about to bust this wide open. and they're frantically, desperately doing everything they can to keep the genie in the bottle, but it's not going to work. So remember when I told you this, and remember what it is, and know what it's not, and just let it come in one ear and out the other. Let fear come in the ear and let fear go out the other ear, because there ain't no place for fear around here. Just pass right on through both these ears. You don't want anything to do with it, because fear and unindoctrination cannot exist in the same place. And if you're really unindoctrinated, you won't fear. And if you have fear, you're not really unindoctrinated. You got work to do, cousin. So let's talk about an incubus, and let's talk about a succubus, and let's talk about the spiritual ramifications for our divinity, sovereignty, and freedom. And let's talk about how they're being used and will be used, I think, to an increasing degree if we allow them. But we're going to stop that in its tracks. That's why we're doing this podcast excellence tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's just important, folks, to keep yourself in the best space. And that's why I work with the folks at Focused Life Force Energy. If you go to jeffreydaugherty.com and you click on the FLFE, some call it fluffy, Focused Life Force Energy, they will give you a full free month's trial. 15 days on your phone, 15 days on your home. Take a look at it. It gives you a more nurturing environment. And I'll bet it makes it more difficult for an incubus or a succubus to come into your environment. I don't know that. They'll probably say, Jeff, don't say that. But from my experience, I would say that that might be the case. But it does give you a more nurturing environment. They don't even ask for your credit card number. It's a true 30-day in the form of 2 15-day trials and great offers to sign up for a year, which you're going to want to do anyway. So go ahead and save yourself the money. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the FLFE logo, and do yourself a favor and get yourself into a highly nurturing field, which is going to help you. I'm telling you, it's going to help you unindoctrinate. And I think it will help with the subject that we're talking about here tonight. We're talking about the incubus. We're talking about the succubus. And an incubus is what has been called and what is commonly referred to as a demon, a supernatural, and in most people's minds, malevolent being. It's a religious thing. It's an occult thing. Not really as much a cult, but you see them in video games. You see them in TV. And it's really a scare tactic, although there are entities like that out there. Most of them are in your mind, and you create them yourself in the form of tulpe. And we're going to have to get to that someday as well. But supposedly, folks, an incubus, and there is some truth to it, so don't let me get too far down that road. An incubus is a demon in male form who, according to mythology, preys upon sleeping women. So the incubus is a supernatural entity, allegedly, that will come in and will prey upon sleeping women, will try to perform inappropriate sexual activity, and I guess any activity from a supernatural being is inappropriate. So an incubus, is a male supernatural entity, or a supernatural entity that manifests, let's say, in male form. And this, of course, is according to folklore, stories, and even, folks, probably sacred so-called literature talks of these type of beings. So it's not just something that is made up in Hollywood. It's something that many people within spiritual communities think is an actual being. So we're talking about an incubus, which would be the male version that would attack. And sometimes it's not an attack, it's pleasant, but a male demon that would put the move on sleeping women in order to engage in sexual activity with them. And it needs to be said, folks, that this isn't really talking about like an astral dream. This isn't talking about just a feeling. It isn't talking about just a dream. It's talking about an entity that will actually at least pull you into a place through astral holographic technology, which we're going to have to talk about sometime, to make you actually believe that you are having sex with a incorporeal entity. And if you are being attacked by a male one, it's an incubus. Now, there's also a succubus, which is a female version. Now, don't think that just because you're a male that you can't be attacked by an incubus. Don't think just because you're a female you can't be attacked by a succubus. I personally know men that as they're growing and progressing in their spirituality have been subject to attack by an incubus. That is, again, the male sexual, quote unquote, demon, quote unquote. And this is stuff that you need to know. And the word incubus means a nightmare induced by such a demon. Incubare means to lie upon. So again, even though I just said that it's not really dream, it's more of a tulpe, it's more of an actual spiritual entity, the word itself means a nightmare produced by such a demon. I really think from my 38, almost 39 years of research on the subject that it's more than just a dream, that it's really a entity that tries at least to make you think that there's actual sexual violation that's going on. And folks, this isn't anything new. One of the earliest mentions of an incubus, which again is the male version, goes back to the Sumerian king list, 2400 BC. Gilgamesh and his father's called Lilu, which is kind of interesting because I know a lot of you are going probably to the same place I was going to, Lilu, which sounds a whole lot like Lilith. But anyway, Gilgamesh's father was called Lilu. And Lilu supposedly, according to some of the Sumerian epics, Lilu disturbed and seduced women in their sleep, while Lalitu, a female demon, appeared to men in their sleep. So that's very, very interesting, all the way back to Sumer and all the way back to the Sumerian tablets. But it's interesting to me, folks, that we have the modern concept of Lilith, and we'll get to that. But originally, it was more a male, and at least a male and female. So how come we don't have this concept anymore? How come there's no bad man Lilith? There's just the bad woman Lilith, and we know that's because religion is trying to subjugate women, at least the Abrahamic and Christian form. And don't tell me they're not. Read Paul's writings that says women should shut up and be at home making sandwiches, that they should never have authority over a man. If it wasn't for men, they'd be having sex with all kinds of demons. Paul wrote it, so don't get mad at me for reporting it. There was also demons called Ardat Lili, and they actually believed that these Ardat lilies could produce children. Wow. Isn't that something, ladies and gentlemen? Isn't that something? So there's this idea, not only do they want to make you feel guilty for having normal sexual attraction to the opposite sex, not only do they want you to be afraid that if you embrace your sexuality, you're going to go to this place called hell, they also want to make you afraid of having sexual demons come in and take advantage of you in your sleep. And interestingly enough, and this isn't going to surprise anybody, I don't think, most, they were just basically kind of mentioned back there in the Sumerian king list. And I think, and here we go again, isn't the Sumerian list where the Anunnaki come from? And we learned the other day, and this is a confirmation for me, I've always felt and believed that those Anunnaki stories were just stories. It's not real. It's not true. I'm sorry if you believe that the Anunnaki are the end-all, be-all. I just don't think they are. So that was mentioned in these Anunnaki stories. And then real debate, real discussion, the real impetus about these entities, no surprise, started with the early Christian traditions. Because if Christian tradition needs anything, it needs demons to demonize sexual relations, because you can't have people having sexual relations and discovering their power. So you got to have these demons to come in and make people afraid. St. Augustine, in the classic The City of God, said that there were too many alleged attacks by incubi to deny them. And here's another one of those things where they're going to start telling you, oh, there's going to be sexual attacks, there's going to be sexual attacks, and then they manipulate your manifestation to be worried about it, which produces those attacks. So I'm going to tell you that they're going to try to tell you that these things are coming, so you'll know they're not coming, so you won't think about it and manifest their reality into your life. They can talk all they want, but unless you're listening to their fear porn and consuming it and internalizing it, they can't make things manifest into your life. Only you can make things manifest into your life. So they start talking about this, just like they're talking about collapses and tribulations and head chopping and mark of the beast. They're going to begin to talk about this too. Remember where you heard it, and remember to reject it, ladies and gentlemen. There's even questions about the reproductive capabilities of these demons. That comes from the forged book of Enoch. I know some of you don't like me for that, but I've proven to you without a shadow of a empirical, objective doubt that the book of Enoch, as we know it today, complete and total forgery, complete and total Jesuit forgery. And anybody that's still teaching from the book of Enoch, anybody that still wants you to believe the book of Enoch, is working for the Jesuit mind control system. That's just the way it is, because they introduced this idea of spirits that can have sex with women. It never happened. And these people here with the incubus and the succubus continue to bring it down. And then they introduce this whole thing about this person they call the Son of God, produced by sex with and between some entity and a little girl who was paralyzed and impregnated with this thing. And that's what the Bible says, thing. Supernatural thing. So they're trying, even on a subconscious level, to make you feel very, very afraid of it. And there's more reasons for this sinister doctrine, folks. Because if there's one thing that is consistent within the Roman Catholic and the Roman Protestant tradition, it is pedophilia and the disgusting practice of engaging in sexual intercourse with children. And what better way to explain the kids get raped by a priest, a boy gets raped by a priest. He goes and he tells his mom, the mom goes to the pastor or to the priest and says, my son got raped by a priest last night in his sleep. Oh, no. That's just an incubus. It didn't really happen. It's just a demonic dream. Don't worry about it. We'll do an exorcism. We'll get rid of it. It's that sinister, folks. It's that diabolical. And why do you think they have the Thomas Aquinas? Augustine said, occasionally there can be babies begotten by the semen of such demons. Thomas Aquinas argued that. Augustine argued that. Why do you think they would make such an argument? Because every now and then a priest is going to have sex with a girl and she's going to conceive. Every now and then a priest is going to have sex with a nun and she's going to conceive. They're going to rape the girl. Let me correct that. They're going to rape the nun and she's going to conceive and have a baby. And there is historical documentation within the Catholic Church that nuns that got pregnant were killed because it was said that they were having children from Incubus, which goes back to the book of Enoch, which says that spirits can have sex with women and get them pregnant. It's nothing but a dirty, filthy, diabolical cover for dirty, filthy, diabolical men who want to rape women and children, giving themselves an excuse for perpetrating heinous crimes upon children and heinous crimes upon women. None gets pregnant, must have been from an incubus, killer, and kill her quick so she can't tell the story that it was really father who impregnated her. Little girl gets pregnant, must have been a demon, kill her so she can't say it was father that had the demon because she's a witch. No, he's a bitch, and he's screwing little kids, and they've built it into their doctrine. And people that push the book of Enoch are pushing the doctrinal cover for child pedophilia. People that are preaching the book of Enoch are in support of the rape of children, and they're part of covering it up. And I don't care who hears me say it, and I'll debate anybody face-to-face live on this subject. It's that dirty. It's that filthy. It's that horrific, ladies and gentlemen. They want you to think it goes to scaring you about sexuality, and then it goes to a cover for the most disgusting expression of sexuality, rape of women and rape of children. And they even build in the possibility that children can be born through such a union. Do you get it? Do you understand it? The book of Enoch is there to give us the idea that, sexual intercourse, incorporeal beings can screw physical women. And, every now and then it can be productive as far as offspring. It's a cover, ladies and gentlemen. It's meant to scare you. It's meant to keep you from understanding and harnessing and using your sexual power. And it's meant to continue to give them all the sexual power and cover up their dark and heinous deeds, folks. It's really true. And if you feel kind of dirty right now like I do, go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the American flag hero soap logo, and go ahead and get you some high-quality soap from veterans and that are supporting veterans, and wash the filth of these dirty, rotten religions, these blood-based religions, these sacrifice-based religions. Wash it off of you. Make yourself feel better. Make yourself feel great. Let freedom clean your body through hero soap, and let freedom clean your mind and your spirit and your soul, if that's the way you talk about it here, through the lessons that you learn here nightly at Unindoctrinate. We follow Rocky Stucci's Situation Room, and we take you into the midnight hour, reminding you of your personal power and giving you the information you need to set yourself free. We'll be right back after this with more Unindoctrinate. We're just getting started, cousins. Don't go anywhere, because we will be right back.